Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, religious protections are guaranteed to us by the First Amendment. So important that our founding fathers put them in there because they came from all parts of the world.
Representative McDermott, in support.
Yeah, sorry about
Please
that.
proceed, no problem.
All parts of the world to escape the tyranny of religious persecution. It was so important that it's our First Amendment, freedom of press, speech, religion. It's so important it was enshrined in that document. Now what we're doing is creating a new civil right. Now, as Justice Levinson testified before the committee, there is no constitutional right to same-sex marriage. As Justice Levinson testified, there is no fundamental right. But we believe we should create this new right. What's going to happen, invariably, and with all the legal scholars have said, you are going to have a constant conflict between these two rights. I go back to our friend, the photographer, Mr. Rocco from the Leeward Coast. He loves his homosexual brothers and sisters. Right now, when he gets called to play for a wedding, he makes his living as a piano player. He gets a phone call. He's very nice. He says, you know, I'm a devout Catholic. My family's been Catholic for 400 years. I appreciate what you're doing. Let me refer you to 3 or 4 folks who will do a fantastic job and probably do an even better job because, quite honestly, my heart is not in it. If someone goes out to target him because they know who he is and he doesn't do the wedding, he'll be subject to a lawsuit. At which point, a man of modest means cannot fight all the way to the United States Supreme Court. He would need some help. And he would go years and years of litigation. And without this protection, he would be subject, I'm sure if the pattern falls that it has in other states, to harassment. He would be smeared on the web. Don't go to this photographer, hater, bigot, homophobe, ignorant. That's what it would say. It would be a web attack. And people would steer away from that because they don't want the controversy associated with that. So, Mr. Speaker, we'll put him out of business. It's not the first time we've put anyone out of business. But we'll put him out of business because we are saying this newly created civil right is more important than the First Amendment that was guaranteed to him in the United States Constitution. We are denying our faith tradition of this country. Religious freedom is so precious, Mr. Speaker. It's so precious they put it in there as the First Amendment. You cannot deny it as the heritage of our country. Maryland, how did they get their name? Maryland. That's where all the Catholics went. Pennsylvania, founded by William Penn, the Quakers, most tolerant of all the early faiths, and they had initially the largest Jewish community in the nation because of their tolerance. And I could go on and on and on. The Anglican Church in Virginia, that was a state religion. Thomas Jefferson didn't support that because they actually taxed their people to support the church. And that's where the separation of church and state came in. But each of these states had their own religion. So to deny that religion is a part of our fabric and who we are as a people is to deny reality. Now, without protections, we come against the conflict of a sincerely held religious belief and this new civil right. This new civil right seeks, quote unquote, equality, and it seeks legitimization, which is don't ask, don't tell, marriage, but it's still not there. They need destigmatization. And the only way you can get that is through shutting down people who disagree, calling people haters, bigots. And putting in the schools. That's the only way. They're not going to get my generation. They're not going to get the other generations that are older than me. But it's my kids in school. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to protect the business guys because they'll be shut down. They won't be. This is like telling Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles they have to serve a BLT sandwich in their cafeteria. I mean, that's the equivalent, Mr. Speaker. A Jewish hospital, you got to serve a BLT sandwich. Now, I don't know if they do, or a Hasidic hospital run by devout Jewish people. You have to serve pork in your hospital because my dietary, I'm an Irish Catholic, I work there, you should have more dietary menus than I'm going to file a lawsuit. The reason this is, without these protections, Mr. Speaker, this becomes very pernicious. People undoubtedly, again, I bet my house on it, will sue to make a point and put these guys out of business, the totalitarian regime of political correctness.
Representative Fukumoto, would you yield your time?
Yes, I yield my time.
Thank you very much, Representative.
Thank you, Representative
McDermott.
Fukumoto. I appreciate that. The totalitarian regime of political correctness will come crashing down on anyone who says, hey, I respect you, I love you, you're a good dude, good person, I don't want to participate. It's against my religion. Sorry, you got to do it. We've minimized, we are saying with this passage of this bill, the religious freedom, the religious liberty that we all cherish falls by the wayside. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the emerging minority in this country are people of faith. They are the minority now. They are the one we never take seriously. In fact, Mr. Speaker, judge after judge after judge has ruled so narrowly on the lower courts with regard to religious freedom, it always has to get kicked up to the United States Supreme Court, where they can't deny the reality of what the First Amendment says. It's pretty clear. A marriage counselor who doesn't want to provide counseling to same-sex couples, a therapist, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this. You're not going to get my best because my heart's not in it. Bang, lawsuit. You're going to go to court. And there are people who will test it because they want to shame the people of faith. You're archaic, you're knuckle draggers, you don't know what you're talking about, and we're going to put you out of business. Because we got the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission on our side, and we're going to hammer you and hammer you and hammer you. And if we don't spend you to death fighting the state with unlimited resources, we're going to smear you on the internet, we're going to picket your workplace if we can, and put you out of business. Don't believe me? Ask Mike Gabbard what happened to his sandwich shop back in the 90s, or his Whole Foods place. He had to sell it. People were picketing. He was making a good amount of money, Mr. Speaker. They would picket him. He couldn't sell any more sandwiches. He had to sell it. He lost his livelihood. Lost his livelihood. This is serious business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative.